Oh, yeah.
McJames might have died again.
He is frozen on mine, but
Well,
that happens pretty
Give me a
quick.
hot second.
Oh, okay. He's back. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not dead. It's just my video's not. I don't know what his fucking deal is. It's not happy with me. It's feeling no love.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't put it past you to hold perfectly still for minutes on end.
Sure. I mean, why not? As long as we're running those sort of insane experiments, we can do that.
Sounds like a pretty good goof, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, it feels like we were just here, and that's because we were.
Yep.
We're back again to talk about E3 and other stuff. You know, the stuff we've been playing. Is wow. Last week was so busy, we didn't even get to that. Incredible. Just a jam-packed, wall-to-wall excitement episode of Press X the podcast. And this is going to be another one of those.
Beautiful.
You know?
Yeah. I thought, oh shit, we talked about so much for E3, what could possibly be left? And then, I look, and lo and behold, there are goddamn dozens of games remaining to be discussed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Crazy. Felt like we covered everything that first go around.
We covered
Certainly
a lot.
didn't feel like, right? It certainly didn't feel like we left off this much shit.
to be fair, when I decided to add an entire presentation's worth of shit to the doc, I did so in a pretty sloppy jalopy fashion, and so there's definitely some things in this list that maybe we know about and like maybe we don't have to like necessarily talk about. One of which at least one, there's a review up for it on the site because like a whole handful of these games came out the day the presentation aired.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm honest with you, there's a good 3 pages of games that I've not heard of. Got no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, there are no less than 3 photography sims in the same presentation.
It's 3 more than I thought would ever exist.
Yeah, 2 of them they announced or like talked about, I think within like 10 minutes of each other. Alicon, which came out like the day of the presentation, where you're just exploring a whimsical island, you're snapshotting cool animals. And then like you scroll down a little bit further and there's Beasts of Maravilla Island, also available the day the presentation came out, also a 3D adventure and photography sim.
How many of them
So-
can be replaced by Pokemon Snap?
I think they're all kind of interchangeable, but yes, both.
I'd rather take pictures of a cute Pikachu than whatever those other games are, but hey, that's me.
That's fair.
But anyways, welcome back, everybody. I'm Paul, that's James, that's Rhett. This is Press X the podcast.
Yep.
And this is episode 11 of the Face season, because I forgot to mention that this is the Face season last time. And lo and behold, here we are again, 3 faces.
Make that 4.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, he'll be watching over this.
Yeah, because you've got a face in your chest, so it's the extra
Not
face
just
in
a
case you run
face.
out of face. Okay, like I'm not here to like diminish or belittle any faces. All right.
You're like
Whichever
Watto from Total Recall.
Yeah, where a guy takes off a sweater and the dude's all like,
Oh yeah.
protect things.
Raid. Great film. It does hold up. Watched it not that long ago. One of Arnold's finest. Anyway, what do you guys want to do? Should we talk about E3 first? Or should we talk about games first?
I think we should do games first because I think between the 3 of us, we have a thing or two to talk about. And
Ooh, yeah.
it couldn't hurt to just like really quickly like barrel through the list, but like, do you know what this is? Great, let's talk about it at the end for our like E3 last ditch. Oh my god, I can't believe we didn't talk about these roundup.
Okay,
Yep.
let's do it. I nominate James to go first.
Okay, so the chronologically the first thing I played on this list would have been Backbone.
Tell me more. What's
Backbone,
the spine of this game? What's the
it's
core?
set.
I was gonna do some more spine puns, but go ahead.
Some more spine puns.
Yeah.
It's set in a Vancouver, like our Vancouver, but different, where everybody's animals. And yeah, it's definitely as grimy at times as our city, and that's pretty cool. Also, the graphics are really nice, really beautiful pixel art, 2D adventure title, point and click kind of thing, where you're like solving a mystery. Some murders involved, and some intrigue, and some club owners, because this guy is a straight up fucking gumshoe from like top to toes, you know, like just like you just play this grizzled, hard bitten raccoon who's lived that rough raccoon life.
Okay.
And yeah, and there's like class division depending on what animal you happen to be. Like dogs and apes have this crazy spot in the hierarchy, and cats that like nobody else can fuck with.
Huh. Do you
That's
get to
rad.
pick what animal you are, or do you
No,
gotta be
it's
the raccoon?
very it's very crafted. You are this raccoon grizzled detective with, I don't know if it's like a drinking problem. You do see him consuming alcohol several times throughout the course of the game. You leave that to you to decide whether it's like too much or like a fine amount.
I know you don't play as a raccoon in Disco Elysium, but I know nothing about this game, but I'm getting a vibe that's somewhat similar.
The aesthetic glimmers, I suppose, of similarity, where it's just like, okay, no, visually I get this idea of like this kind of like down in his luck character who's sometimes looking to redeem themselves and sometimes not, particularly kind of up to you, actually. It's interesting because there's no, like, when you start the game, you start playing, you quickly come to realize that there's no save slots. The game
Okay.
just goes and auto saves, and you're at the mercy of the auto save, which basically makes stuff like save scumming a bit more of a like inexact science, kind of an art form, kind of something you can't really effectively do, because like you can just like, oh, I'll just reload at the last save. It's like, well, no, because it does so automatically. You just sort of you could quit the game and just sort of see where it takes you. I found out when I shut it off one time that it would put me back at the beginning of like a scenario. So it's not impossible for you to like make different choices a certain distance back if you fuck something up, but like really you're just kind of like in the ride to like see where it takes you.
This looks
And,
really cool.
Oh yeah, no, it's a goddamn beautiful game, and the soundtrack is like this doom jazz stuff that they've got like put together for it that like I quite enjoyed and really like the sound of. No, it's an excellent time.
Seems like there's some good opportunity for puns as well if you're from Vancouver or know Vancouver. Just watching the trailer here, and the raccoon ran past Foxy Burger.
Yeah,
So
he does. There's a lot of little familiar landmarks. The Steam Clock. If you're down in if you're down in Yaletown, you can see the Steam Clock. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. There's neighborhoods you recognize, and there's like a straight up, at one point in the story, there's a straight up homeless encampment. And it's just like, yes, this is.
it's very true to life.
Yeah, it is. It is extremely true to life, actually.
I was just reading the slug here, and it says explore dystopian Vancouver. And
Yeah.
you can effectively remove the word dystopian, and it has the same effect because Vancouver is itself a dystopia. Like many major cities.
Yeah.
This looks pretty good, James.
Yeah, there's a lot of fascinating biting social commentary, but it's explored and approached in a pretty organic fashion. I actually really like the storytelling and the writing, which is pretty unusual for me. I'm kind of a like jaded, bitter old fuck when it comes to like video game writing, and I'm a pretty hard sell when it comes to narrative, but I was like, I love this. I'm into it. Let's do it.
Sweet. Backbone. Check it out. Rhett, what have you been up to, bud?
Not a lot, but Ratchet and Clank. It's been taking up some of my time, and it's amazing. You know, that performance ray tracing mode. Have you been through it with that? Turned on it? Yeah, it's nice. Eh?
Yeah. I went back after completing it and did the challenge mode in the performance RT, and damn,
gorgeous. I stopped a couple of times. Well, I've done it a bunch of times now. Really, it seems like every new level, every new scene I see, I'm wanting to switch between fidelity and performance ray tracing to see the difference. But it's really, really difficult to tell the difference if you're not stopping and staring and looking for it. Yeah, I really don't see a reason to play that game in the fidelity mode with that performance ray tracing update. It feels too good not to play it in 60 frames. And you said it in your review, and I have to agree. Like, I can't think of a game that looks better than that. It is just beautiful.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning and phenomenally well paced.
Yeah.
It's an experience that I didn't want to put down. Like, it gives you ample opportunity to be like, okay, this is a place where I can put this down and I can walk away for now. But it wants to push you forward, and I think they did a really nice job with the narrative in making that feel like a big budget Pixar production. It's animated really in such a way, and it's man.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I was just saying, I'm really liking the new characters. Rivet is cool, but I'm really taking a liking to like Clank's alternative. What's her name?
Kit.
Man, she's super cute. She's got just the funniest, cutest little quips as you're running around, and then like she'll hit you with something that's like really like deep and introspective. She'll hit you with like you know some like bomb that's just like, whoa, dude. You know. And yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it really hits in the feels in a few spots there.
Yeah.
Again, and I think that comes down a lot to the pacing, because it hits those beats at just the right moment, and it doesn't linger for so long that you're not like, okay, this is an energetic thrill ride. I'm ready to grind some rails. I'm ready to, shoot some guns.
Yeah.
And the gun selection, really good.
Ooh.
They do such a nice job of making you want to use everything, and the ammo is really well balanced to make sure that you do have to switch it up. You can't just stick to the shotgun or whatever, because you're going to run out, and sometimes you're going to have nothing left but the topiary sprinkler, and you're going to have to make it work.
So I was just going to say, I think my favorite weapon is the topiary sprinkler. It's fucking amazing. Turning like a 100-foot boss into a giant bush is hilarious, and that's what I love about this series and how they've always built their weapons to work on all enemies. It's something I really appreciate. In any other game series, you get that topiary sprinkler and it works great, but then you get to the bosses and it doesn't work on a boss. You know, those like special guns, they just don't hit bosses in the same way that they hit regular enemies. Ratchet, man, that thing is just as effective on a boss as it is on, a little one-hit grunt. And yeah, it's a good time. I definitely haven't seen everything yet, but man, through the first 10, 15 hours, that topiary sprinkler is fucking awesome.
Yep, you by the time you hit the end, you're into the third weapon wheel.
There's more than one weapon wheel? Oh, but I guess so. I just got the trophy that said complete your first weapon wheel. So yeah, I guess I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Damn. I got a lot of shit to find.
Yeah, and it just feels so good to play. it's the kind of experience where you get to the end and it's like, you unlock challenge mode. Well, firing that up right now.
Yeah.
I'm not putting it down for a day. I'm going back to the well because I want to play more.
Yeah. It just feels so good, strafing, jumping, and then like doing that dash to the side, dodging, and then getting on the rocket rollerblades, maybe ripping around, you know, and like it just all flows so well. Man, that's a good game. It's a good game.
Like, it is very possibly the game of the year up to this point.
Yeah.
Very possibly.
For me, I'd say.
Although,
I mean, RE8's up there. RE8 was good, but as far as like innovation, I'm sure Ratchet's gonna take Game of the Year. You know, compared to what has come out so far, I'm sure Ratchet would beat out anything just with what it's doing. It really does feel like the first next gen experience. At least for me, it really does feel like the first true next gen experience.
I would agree with that. I said this in the review, but there's something to the portals and looking through into like a pocket dimension or something that feels different because it's simulating everything at the same time. Like, there's no trickery. It's just brute force and a really fast SSD that's making everything work together for basically flawlessly for an entire experience. And if that's what we can look forward to for the next 5-10 years of these consoles, I mean, assuming Xbox gives us an exclusive that uses, you know, a little bit of horsepower.
Nice. I like that.
Got to get that dig in there a little bit once in a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways. James, what have you been playing? Outside of Backbone.
Outside of Backbone, there was a couple of demos and actually some other shit I can add to this list now that just happened in the last 2 days.
Damn.
But you know what? Let's talk about the Final Fantasy VII PS5.
Please.
Because I feel like we didn't... I don't know if we got into this.
We did not.
But it's been out for a hot minute. And you guys were talking about the fidelity and the performance modes of Ratchet and Clank. And I have to say, it's not the same experience with Remake Intergrade, because the difference between the two modes, in my opinion, is fucking stark. It's like night and day. Because like with quality mode, like you can see crazy detail on every texture and everything is so fucking beautiful, but like it's like a really obvious hard 30 frames per second. Like there's none of this like oh, it can kind of work for both. No, you get like photorealistic detail or you get unbelievably fluid movement, and you kind of have to pick. And I almost immediately picked performance.
Yeah,
I was like, no, I really, God, seeing that frame rate in action is just like turns this into a different fucking game. Whereas like quality mode is like a shined up PS4 title, which is exactly what it is. Like it's the best version of an already pretty beautiful game. But like, to me, quality mode is like a 15% bump in graphics, whereas performance mode is like a 80% bump in fucking frame rate. So like, it's not A, I'm making these figures up, but B, that is just there's no contest between the two.
Yeah.
And also the DLC rules. For Condor!
Oh, For Condor is so good. But yeah, you're right with that 60 frames per second mode. And especially in this Yuffie DLC, the way it play and the way she plays compared to the other characters, I get it. At times it almost feels like you're playing a platinum game. Like it's that fun and that fast and that responsive, and with the added, you know, tactical bits of casting spells and working with your partner in this DLC, it's really, really good. And it gives me a lot of hope for what they can do with the next part of this remake. If it continues to be that diverse for every character, for every scenario, it's pretty awesome. I really enjoyed the DLC.
Yeah, it was interesting because like you first start out just with Yuffie and it's like, okay, sure, you get your ass kicked by like most things, and then you get your second, like your partner in crime. It's like, oh, she's literally built to have somebody to bounce off of, and she's basically useless without them. Which to me is like, but how are they going to integrate that into the main game when she joins like the party and stuff? Because she's probably gonna. It's like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Like,
I think that would be really smart to have some kind of synergize mode with each of the other characters. Like something unique that happens if you synergize with Cloud versus synergizing with Tifa.
Oh, you know what? That's fair. That's a great plan. Let's hope they do that.
Yeah,
Come
you
on,
gotta
Square,
figure
don't
though,
let me down, man.
they gotta continue to innovate throughout. You know, if they release, I mean, I don't know, maybe fans would be happy with just 5, let's say, whatever, how many games it takes for them to complete this thing. 5 of the pretty much the exact same games, just really well made. Or would you like to see 5 games, but each one of them kind of improves on the other? You know, this synergy thing sounds cool. It would sounds like it would be a bit more interesting.
So here's a fun, depressing thing I literally just thought of right this second. This DLC is known as Intergrade or Intermission. And I believe part of that is because only part 1 or only remake is going to end up a PS4 game. And the next one that comes out is probably just going to be PS5. Yeah. Which, upside, the next full game is going to look amazing. Downside, man, all my predictions about when it's coming out are right out the fucking window. Like, this could be like in 6 months or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, it could be for sure, but I popped back to a few, mid-game saves from the original part of the remake on the PS5, and the difference between the PS4 and the PS5 is pretty astonishing in a lot of places. Places like the wall market and just the amount of extra light and extra fog and extra detail that's in everything that they just, slapped onto that PS4 frame makes me feel like maybe they don't need to do that much to this. Maybe that frame is still solid enough that they can just blast out more content and have it look very PS5-ish.
Yeah, which honestly, I'm fine with that. If all the other games have the skeleton of a PS4 game, I don't give a fuck. It's fine, honestly. They look great. Cloud, it's interesting because you can tell which characters are important because in performance mode, their faces get all soft and like they lose a little definition around the edges. Whereas like Cloud and like Tifa still look amazing. And then when you switch them to quality mode, it's like, God, I'm just counting your fucking pores. This is unbelievable.
It's absolutely accurate.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
But the standout is definitely Fort Condor. What a hell of a minigame. I'd play that as a standalone.
I would too. Absolutely. In a second. They could release that on like mobile or I don't give a fuck. Whatever platform you want, as long as it plays the same.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, but then you just dropping shit in and earning upgraded boards and pieces and stuff like that and swapping out different components to make sure your strategy evolves with your play style. It's fascinating stuff. It's interesting how much it resembles the original version of that minigame while still being kind of a big leap forward from that version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those who don't know, the original Fort Condor was in Final Fantasy VII, obviously, and it was kind of a side quest where you could go in and do these little tower defense missions where you'd be placing units on a hill and, here's your catapult and it's going to throw rocks down the hill at the bad guys. And they updated it to be more of like a real-time strategy sort of thing, but it's I don't know, it's almost got a sort of MOBA feel. It's got very defined lanes and there's towers that you're taking out with your units, but at the same time almost has like a Fire Emblem sort of hard counter system. It's pretty deep. Like, not the deepest game I've ever played, but it has some nuance.
Yeah, it's more complicated than it really has any right to be, which is pretty normal actually for Final Fantasy minigames.
That's fair.
Like they put in those like weird card-based strategy battle games in like 8 and 9, where it was just like, do you want to save the world or just play this for 30 hours? And you're like, well, obviously the second one. What are you talking about?
The card game in Final Fantasy IX is borderline impossible to understand. If you just look at what it gives you in the game, you will have absolutely no idea how to play it.
No.
Well, how do y'all feel about Blitzball?
It definitely occupies the similar space as the mini games in 8 and 9, where
I've heard people hate it.
It's more complicated than it really needs to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and like, but the thing about Blitzball, I think that made so many people angry, was that it was tied to Waka's best weapon, and you couldn't get it without playing Blitzball really well, and doing so was like a real awful slog.
Fuck.
Actually, most of the super weapons in that game were linked inextricably to pure fucking torture, and wanted nothing to do with most of them.
You definitely dodged the lightning bolts, though, right?
Wow, I for sure didn't.
There's a mini game where you get rewards for, is it 100 dodges in a row?
It's 200.
200 dodges. Ooh. In this area that has completely random lightning strikes, and it is like getting one dodge is a feat.
Yeah,
you have to get 200 in a row.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's like they were trying to train us away from doing the extra shit. They're like, we don't like it when you do this, so we're gonna make it really unpleasant. But they walked that back later. But 10 was easily the worst.
What I always find to be the most difficult with things like that are the times between attempts. Like, would they be able to get you back into dodging that lightning, quickly, or would you have to sit through a long load screen and then, dialogue, whatever?
Nah, you just walk in.
Do it.
Lightning's outside.
So at least there's that. So when they fucking, God, I hate that shit. Paul, what have you been playing aside from Ratchet?
Well, there's those two things, and I dabbled with the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins demo. We kind of touched on this in the last episode. I fucking hate it because it's Neo.
Yeah, it's hogwash bullshit. Nobody.
Though I can recognize it as a well-designed game that is for someone, I hate those games so much, and I will not play this ever. What I will play and continue to play is a little Game Pass game that I ran across called The Wild at Heart.
Oh.
And it is awesome. It's like part way between Pikmin and Night in the Woods.
Okay.
It's about this kid who runs away from home, or is running away from home. There's a deep backstory to why this is happening, and gets pulled into kind of this alternate forest dimension where these little Pikmin creatures can be used to accomplish various tasks, and it's sort of an open world, top-down Legend of Zelda kind of thing, where you're managing resources and you're trying to get things done during the day because the night's real scary, and meeting weird characters. The writing's really charming and fun. It's a great game. I can't believe I'd never heard of this before. I'm not sure when it came out, but fuck, it's really good.
The art's pretty cool.
The art is phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Would highly, highly recommend picking that up if you're on Game Pass, or paying for it if you're not. It's that good.
Wish I could contribute, but Maybe we'll have an
I'm pretty
Xbox
sure
in the
that almost
household.
no one has played this game, like, period. But it's yeah.
I'm
times.
glad you played it, because I remember not long ago you were mentioning that, you love Game Pass, but there's just so many things on there that look good, but am I going to play them? Probably not, I remember you mentioned Narita Boy as one, so I'm glad you're diving into this one. That's a good recommendation. I'll be sure to check it out when
I did download Narita Boy, which is the story of Game Pass for me. Yeah, I downloaded that.
Yeah, it looks good.
That'll probably be all right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play it. By the time I get around to firing it up, it'll be gone from Game Pass.
Honestly, I beat it. That's probably enough for all three of us. It's good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Just a glowing recommendation.
Any other games to talk about, guys? Or should we move on to the electronic triple?
I feel like I should mention there was a demo that I played for E3.
Okay.
So it'll be a nice tie-in for this whole event. It's called Terra Nil. And it's a city builder, but like in reverse. Where instead of creating some sort of like empire of any sort, what you're doing is taking a blasted wasteland of a planet and you're restoring it to its original natural beauty. So you fucking show up at a place and you start putting down like wind turbines and power stations and like fertilizing stations and stuff like that. And then you slowly but surely bring all the green back to the map you're playing on. And then once you do that, then you can start like creating biomes and then getting the whole area to like the right like humidity and like temperature and stuff like that. And then like once it's like perfect, then your next step is to actually scoop up and collect every single piece of technology you laid out in service of this goal, so that the whole place is left completely fucking pristine and there's like no evidence remaining that you were ever there. I played through the demo like 3 times just trying to get like a perfect like successful run, and I would probably continue doing it more just to keep playing the game. It's really fucking good.
And this is a Devolver game.
Yeah.
What the hell? This
is
so not a Devolver game.
I know. It's so good.
Wow.
It's fucking rad.
This looks really cool. I love the art style. It's almost like SimCity 2000 a little bit.
Yeah. But you can zoom way in on like on the graphics or whatever. You can go way out and like get the map view of the whole map.
Yeah.
Or get close enough to see like how each individual structure is put together and what it looks like. Yeah, the music is really peaceful and it's really satisfying, like laying grass down and like forests and beehives and flowers and like doing controlled burns to like let other things grow in its place and like reviving the riverbeds. It's just like, it's so good.
Yeah, this looks pretty good. I might have to download this demo.
Yeah, no, I like 3 times, I think 2 or 3 times I went through the entire thing just to like get perfect. Like I couldn't quite figure out how to like close the deal, but then I was like, oh no, you have to make sure that literally every piece of technology is collected by the sweepers, and then it all goes to the airship and the airship flies away, because you can't have like any trace of human civilization left in this thing when you're done.
I understand that desire.
Yeah,
Someone who's familiar with human beings, I understand that desire to wipe us from the face of the earth.
Yeah, for sure.
We deserve it. All right. Electronic Entertainment Expo version, the stuff we missed. Stuff like Wonderlands, which is Borderlands at Hogwarts.
Right. Yes. I didn't realize the name didn't ring a bell, but like, yes, it's just like Diablo-ish kind of. Everybody's calling it Diablo Lands, which is why I like didn't recognize the actual name.
Was anybody really clamoring for more Tiny Tina at this point?
Kinda. Like,
yeah,
I didn't play 3 much. I technically own all of the Borderlands games, but I put like progressively less time to each one as they came out. Like Borderlands 3 was probably maybe like 4 hours. But I finished Borderlands 1 and I put like 30 or 40 hours into 2, and during that time I saw Tiny Tina and I thought she was fucking awesome. So the idea that they're bringing her back for her own game is rad. She was easily the best part of like a lot of the content I experienced.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. She's cool as shit.
I'm not sure how this is going to translate.
Oh, it could be a complete disaster. That's fine.
It's going to be lots of green and red arrows. Your favorite, James.
Listen, if they can translate that into gameplay that makes the arrow hunt worth it, then I don't know. Prove me wrong. Listen, Borderlands, I don't want to hate on you. You're cool and colorful and punky and fucked up. I want to be in your world. I just don't want to go arrow shopping for like 70% of the fucking runtime, you know? Like, pull me in, suck me in, really fucking make me want to be there.
Yeah. I mean, the first game is proof that they can do it.
Yeah.
That game is outstanding. Borderlands 2 is fine. 3 is well made, but I just don't want to.
3 is just 2 again. Listen, I played 3. I was like, hard time believing this is a PS4 game. People tell me it and I believe them, but like the evidence is not obvious to me.
I mean, their marketing very much knows what it is. It's like, what if Borderlands 2 was 8 times bigger? It's like, I would cry a little bit. Make it smaller like Borderlands 1 was.
Yeah, 2 was too big, you fucking ghouls.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyways,
yeah,
maybe Wonderlands will be good.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to believe in this project.
Okay, what did we miss from Xbox? We didn't talk about that new Arcane game, Redfall.
Yeah. To be fair, what we saw was a series of cutscenes, so there is, strictly speaking, not a lot to talk about. But I like the idea of a world where vampires have taken over, and the only people who can stop it are people who just have powers for no reason that matters. Shut up. What do you care? One of them can fucking teleport, and one of them is like... I don't give a shit why they are where they are. There's this vampire world, and your people you control have amazing powers, and one of them is laid with a huge bitch and afro, and I'm like, I don't know what else you want from this game beyond what it's providing.
Yeah, I mean, I do wish they had shown something. I understand that it's probably way too early to show anything. But, you know, my appetite is whetted enough, just given the fact that these are the people who made the latest Prey game, and the latest Prey game is really good. People kind of missed the boat on that one, but it's a really good game. So these people can make games if they can make this, an interesting enough setting. It'll be successful. And it'll be on Game Pass, much like everything else on Xbox.
Yeah. Yep. The trailer for The Outer Worlds 2 was a brilliant piece of marketing.
Was it,
the guys just... I loved it. I fell for hook, line, and sinker. I don't give a shit. I'm not that jaded. I call myself jaded all the time. It's not true. I'm ready to fall for your bullshit. You just have to make it good. Honestly. I'm such a mark. He's just sitting there laying out like, this is how trailers work. This is what you do next. This is what you do here. It's just like, here's a monster you're never going to see again. I'm like,
I mean, I get that. I get that they're poking fun. The problem is that it was sandwiched between trailers that did those exact same fucking things in an unironic way.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's because they're pointing out things that we haven't like gotten over or moved past. These are things that we're very much still doing all the time in trailers.
Yeah, but I get it, but to me that just devalues the other stuff that they were showing where they didn't bother to, not that they didn't bother, they didn't have enough ready to show something real. So why are you showing it?
Well, for Outer Worlds 2, I would argue that like we sort of have proof of concept with the first game, and it's pretty unlikely that at least like visual, like stuff they could show us in a trailer, they'd be like, well, no, you know what this is? It's just more Outer Worlds, right? Like,
yeah, and that'll be great because the Outer Worlds is a very good game.
My
comment is more related to the stuff that is surrounding that before or Outer Worlds 2 and after the Outer Worlds 2. Why are you showing me that stuff?
I think if I have a feeling that the people who like put the show together and like coordinated and stuff like that probably had like, okay, and then next we're gonna have an Outer Worlds 2 trailer, and then we're gonna have this thing, and like maybe like all the details of the contents were not exactly made privy to them, and so it's just like, hey, see that in the day of or like the week before, and they're like, fuck, okay,
oh
well,
no. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Haha, funny joke, guys. You're like grinding your teeth.
You followed the script to the T. Oh my god, why? Yeah, no. I'm sure that'll be good.
I can get how that would make that trailer would make PR people and trailer producers like kind of uncomfortable, but like, you know,
yeah.
Where's the lie?
I mean, a few minutes before the show, I had it stuck in my head that it was an absolute lock because Microsoft owns Bethesda now. They own Obsidian now. They've got to tease Obsidian making a Fallout game, right? That has to happen. Obsidian made the best Fallout game in Fallout New Vegas. They must have a team working on something.
No.
They must. Why would you not? You paid because massive bank for these companies. Leverage
because all those people are making the Outer Worlds. Those are the Outer Worlds guys. So they don't. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna. And they've decided that Fallout 76 is gonna be this persistent online thing because those games. Make infinite money.
Oh, James.
What? Listen,
I know what you're saying.
I have terrible news about Red Dead Redemption 3. It doesn't exist and it's never going to exist. Also, anybody who is like really excited about GTA 6, I have other very similarly bad news.
Doesn't exist.
GTA 6 is going to be a heist pack for GTA 5.
Yeah. It was a heist pack for GTA 5 a year and a half ago. It's not a real game.
Yeah.
Why would they make a new game when the game they have is a machine that prints them money?
Guess. Yeah, I mean, Bethesda does do that with the Elder Scrolls Online as well, so.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bummer for people who like things that don't suck, though, so.
Yeah. I mean, there was like, I think like 2 or 3 E3s ago, I kind of got the death knell, the doom bell was rung where it was like, hey guys, we made this thing. It's going to make us infinite money. But we'll still make your favorite games. Wink.
What if we made you... Go ahead.
Go on. No, I was just going to say, I played 76 actually last week. They had a free trial going on. Did you? Oh, yeah. I hopped in.
Oh, boy.
And I got to say.
And?
It's not bad. It's really not bad. It's just Fallout. It's just online Fallout. Now, I was looking at the fucking little subscription service they have. That's embarrassing. whoever came up with that price model, obviously they should get a raise, but it's an embarrassing amount of money to be charging that for what they're offering. But what really made me get into it or want to try it was I was reading some Reddit comments about the latest update and how the game like has come a really long way from when it launched. It has NPCs, it has meaningful quests, it has fucking, stable servers and everything. It's, don't get me wrong, it's chock full of Bethesda jank, but I mean, if you like Fallout, if you like Fallout 4, I mean, it's really just multiplayer Fallout 4.
I'm glad if it's actually there at this point.
Yeah.
The problem is it hasn't been every other time I've played it. I'll go to shoot a super mutant and I'll pop into VATS and I'll rip off a couple of headshots and my character's just like T-posing, or the bullets don't work because the server has crashed or whatever's going on. But if it works, great. Because the environment they built for Appalachia is arguably their best work.
Gorgeous. And I really like the girl they hired to do the DJ role. She kills it. She's doing a really, really good job with it. That stuff that you had mentioned, T-posing, bullets not working, haven't seen that stuff a single time yet. So, fingers crossed. They did say that all of these games that they've got going on, these like persistent online games, they're all going to be getting that next gen update, that PS5 and Series X update. So, maybe when that happens, I might want to pop back in there and see where they're at. Because right now, I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever played. For all the shit talking I've done about it, it's not the worst thing I've ever played. And then
that's fair. I mean, they had to get to a point where they fixed it eventually.
Exactly. Just like with Elder Scrolls Online, though, that shit sucked when it came out. Everybody was like, "What the hell is this?" And now everybody's like, "This shit's actually pretty good." So, the other thing I wanted to touch on, going back to the trailers, though, was how about that Death Stranding trailer? Kojima, you sick fuck! You really knew what you were doing with that one, didn't you? Woo, man! Like, just make that game.
He almost had me too,
dude. He almost had me. Yeah, I'm like, oh, is this going down? No. He's fuck Hideo. But yeah, Norman Reedus sneaking around, breaking necks, hiding in boxes, or not being able to figure out the box. I'm into it.
You know what really bothered me about that is you dumped the oranges out of the box and put the box back on the shelf. Oranges are on the fucking floor. What is the matter with you? I don't care if it's the apocalypse. Clean up after yourself.
I'm with you, but Hideo is like Kubrick. There's nothing that's happening for no reason. Those oranges remained on the floor for a reason. It must have been some sort of political statement I'm thinking he was making.
Are you saying that I will be ashamed of my words and my deeds at some point?
Oh yeah, 100%. The oranges represented the future operating on a currency of information, you see. And with the oranges hitting the I don't know what I'm saying. Great trailer. Thank you.
You let that run for a lot longer than I thought you were gonna. I was pretty impressed. But like, okay.
Yeah. Give me that game.
So,
yeah, is that like just is that a new game? Is that just an update?
I got a bone to pick with the name. How is the original Death Stranding not already the fucking director's cut?
No kidding. Like, this is your auteur bullshit taken to the absolute max level. Like, what are you saying? There's stuff you couldn't do?
What?
They gave you like
nonsense.
the longest leash in the history of game development. They let you make a fucking FedEx delivery simulator. I do not understand what you left out.
Man, he had those hours of footage of Norman Reedus taking a piss, and he just had to taking a shower, drinking monsters. Just had to get all that unused footage in there. Why not?
I personally can't wait to see how sharp those monster cans are going to look on a PS5.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
100%. He had the piss grenade. He had the shit grenade.
Yeah.
I got to assume the next grenade will be semen-based? Is that
Cum bomb?
What...
Yep, sure. Cum bomb. Yeah,
exactly.
let's make it happen.
I'm thinking that's the point. That's what Hideo. That's really what we're working towards here.
Yeah, just like an hour-long interview upon the release of the director's cut, where it's just him talking about like jerking off in the apocalypse and the making of cum bombs.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got.
So there's a few games left, just like of shit to talk about that I think were fucking awesome.
Yep.
One I technically played a demo for that I don't know if I can talk about yet.
Well, let's talk about it and then we'll figure it out before I post this.
Huzzah! I played Death's Door.
Okay.
For a bit.
Yeah,
did a preview build of Death's Door. It rules. I don't know. It's like I don't know how much I have to say that you can't just figure out from the trailers, but like you play, if you don't know, you play a little crow, a little bird who's like the messenger of death, and you go and collect souls from people, and this story starts when you like fuck up a soul collection because the guy escapes and you're like, beans, and then you have to like solve that problem. It takes a couple of cues from like Dark Souls, because all games must, as is the new law, but mostly just the way the map unfolds. It does that thing where like you'll unlock a shortcut back to a base. Like there's not really as many like checkpoints. You're just like, you go unlock this door and whatnot, and you go in and you expand the map that way. Gameplay is tough as nuts, but that's the Devolver game I played where I was like, oh yeah, no, this feels like a Devolver Digital game, because it's just like the first real enemy, like the first boss you fight, just kicks the absolute shit out of you like 30 times. You're like, oh, that's how you're supposed to do it. And then 4 more of those, and then you figure it out. Also, it was supposed to be a demo, but I, full disclosure, still have not played to the end of it, because I captured footage for like 3 hours, and it was just like, I'm not done? Okay. Maybe I'll find more time for that in a minute, but like, it's a large demo section. They unlocked a significant a bigger than I was expecting portion of the game for the demo. And the combat, again, it's fluid. It feels great. Looks good. It's super fun. It's hard as fuck. It's one of those games where it's like, if they give you a tool, you use that tool, or you are going to die.
Yeah.
In fact, you're probably gonna die anyways. The nice thing about that is that like the currency of like killing or whatever, the stuff you get from beating people up, you don't lose that when you lose your life.
Oh.
There's not really any serious consequences for dying, at least not in the demo version, which is great, because you're going to do that a lot.
Well, there's the twist from the Dark Souls formula then, if you get a keep your...
Yeah, no, and like, also in the upgrades trees that I was given access to, there was nothing like giving you more health. So just like, that's just how much you have.
Oh,
And if you get more, it's not through that system. Like
Huh.
there could be other shit that you find where it's like, oh, you found the Flubelborb, and now you have like 5 hearts instead of 4. Also, you have 4 hearts, so like,
okay.
you know, don't try to take any hits ever if you can help it. Which you can, actually. It's crazy. You do a boss fight enough times, you're like, oh no, you just move like this and do this thing. I was like
crush it.
recording footage for like this second boss fight, and I was like, oh fuck, this is taking me forever. I should just turn this off. I'll just, I'll come back to it in a minute. And then like after I did that and then went back 10 minutes later, I beat him the very first time I tried it. So it was just like, oh, I see the pattern now. The Matrix is opened up before me. It was cool.
It looks really cool. Also, Rhett almost just pulled his head off.
Yo, yeah, did you hear that? Sorry.
No, but I swear I saw your head
The
floating
mic
above
may have
your
picked
body
it
for
up.
a second there.
I do have a question though for James. So you said he plays a crow in this?
Yeah, like a little crow with a glowing red sword.
Okay. So with the glowing red
Yeah.
sword, so he flies around though with the sword, yeah, and then you're like swooping in and attacking as you.
No, you walk.
You do
You're a
walk.
crow on 2 legs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's like
is there any?
It's isometric like Hades.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Cool. So I would have to assume though there's some sort of like ability where he can take to the sky and do something or other like that.
Not that I've seen.
Not that you've seen. Okay.
Oh shit.
So then my last question though is how is the frame rate looking?
That's where the
there's-
demo ends for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's like, there's a big story hook that comes up where you meet another guy who does your job, and it's also a bird, and he also doesn't fly.
Okay.
He just sort of like lumbers around. He's like 4 times your size. You're just like, ugh. And you just see him kind of like amble up to you. Just
yeah.
nobody uses their wings in this
Okay.
world. Nobody flies. Bananas. There you are.
Paul, you're probably right though. They probably do take to the skies right at the end of the demo.
Just screeching crows into the sky, and it just fades up. Death's door. You're like, fuck. I gotta buy that.
The game over screens are the best I've ever seen. Or like if I was to make a list of the top 10 game over screens, I would have started that list because of the game over screens in Death's Door. It's
Okay.
just really slick. I don't know. It just says like the screen goes like black, and then the big words like death and this really rad font show up, and you can like see the action still happening on the other side, like through the letters. I don't know, it's
like that.
slick as hell.
Yeah, all right.
I
That's cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
The other Dark Souls adjacent game that really stood out to me through this whole E3 thing was Salt and Sacrifice, which is the
Yeah.
sequel to Salt and Sanctuary, which is basically
Yeah.
2D Dark Souls and is really awesome. Like really, really good, nice weighty feel to it, and this kind of, I don't know, almost nautical theme to the action. And Salt and Sacrifice seems to be leaning quite heavily into a co-op aspect, which sounds great. Sounds great, like an awesome way to play a game that is basically a boss rush. Totally be playing that one. How about Axiom Verge 2? Anybody catch that trailer?
I feel like I've seen at least one trailer for Axiom Verge 2.
He changed everything. It is not at all like Axiom Verge 1. It's gone from kind of that 8-bit style to more of a 16-bit style.
Oh,
Not really gun-based. It's a little more like physical, hand-to-hand. It's a big departure.
Well,
But it
good.
looks different enough that I desperately want to play it. In addition to playing something like Metroid Dread or something that's very traditionally that.
Yeah. the Axiom Verge one was like, I know there's like a million Metroidvanias out there in the world, but fuck, that one really stands on its own two legs. Really, really feels good. Just like the atmosphere and the environment and the way like there's like story, the environmental storytelling and the way the like the world that lays out before you as you play is like, it's absolutely fascinating.
And a banging soundtrack.
Holy shit.
So good.
Yeah. Real legendary biz.
I did also see, maybe it was on Epic Game Store or something, that there is an alpha version of an Axiom Verge randomizer.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. So
it's pretty rad.
I know it's big in the speedrun community, so I'd be really interested to see what an expert could do with a randomizer.
Oh, probably some crazy shit. That's my guess.
Amazing stuff that I can't do. It's usually the case when it comes to speedrunning. What else? How about Sifu?
What is that?
Sifu is a game that was revealed at the PS5 reveal, where a guy kind of walks into a club and just beats the shit out of people, and it looks super visceral and
nice
and awesome.
Kind of sounds like Sleeping Dogs almost.
A little bit.
Okay.
But unclear if there's any story whatsoever, or if this is just a shit kicking simulator.
Honestly, man.
Sure.
Exactly. I think I'm ready for just a nice shit kicking simulator. Something I can get into and just kick the shit out of people.
That might have been a Devolver joint too.
Wow, they're killing it this year, eh?
Oh no, slow clap.
Yeah. And sorry, how do you spell this?
Sifu.
Yeah.
But it looks just devastating. Like some of the blows when they land, it looks unlike things that I've seen before.
No, I haven't even seen this, so I'm just...
I know how you roll. That's fine.
Just gonna give it a quick run through now. 1 point. Oh no, I did see this. Yeah, it looks like Old Boy. They clearly it's an homage to Old Boy.
Yeah.
The hallway beat 'em up scene, man. I'm looking forward to this 100%. It's gonna be a good time. As long as it, like you said, it looks visceral, but those punches need to fucking feel it. Those haptics in the PS5 controller, man, I want to feel those punches, yeah.
A game that did that really, really well, in that feeling of slowing down because something heavy is happening, God of War on PS4.
Yeah.
It really nailed that feel of, when you swing the axe through somebody or you're swinging the chains around. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're heavy. You could feel the weight. And when you made contact, just had that satisfying fucking boom, like every shot you really felt.
Like I'm ripping through this Valkyrie. Or whatever.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I never finished that. That last Valkyrie was way too much. Could not do it.
Yeah, it took me... I played the game not on the hardest difficulty, but I was on hard, I believe. And the last Valkyrie took me... Man, I want to say it was 3 weeks. 3 weeks of battling, figuring it out. Yeah, very tough.
Real pain and suffering there.
Yep.
Couple other quick things that stood out to me that I wrote down. There's a game called Somerville.
Yep.
Which, when I was watching the trailer, I was like, shit, this looks a lot like Limbo, a lot like Inside. And that's because it's made by the dude who came up with those games and spun off his own studio.
Yeah.
Classic.
Looks really good. Like, perhaps a little more in-depth than those other games. The aesthetic is very much Inside, but looks like maybe there's more going on.
It's way better, though. Yeah, it's very much inside, but it's way
Yeah.
nicer. Like this is gorgeous.
For sure.
Nice. Oh, yeah, definitely checking that out.
What else?
Harold Halibut.
Harold Halibut.
Yeah.
I am not 100% sure what this game is.
Shut the fuck up. There's a game coming out called Harold Halibut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically what they do is every set and every character model is built by hand with claymation, and then they do 3D scans of every object, and then this is uploaded into a machine where they like build the cutscenes and every piece. So like everything you see in the game, some poor bastard had to put that thing together in the meat space and then hit it with like 100 cameras, and then they like, and then they upload this, and then it becomes part of the game. It's unbelievable.
It's fucking beautiful. I love that we live in a time where, like, every game that comes out is just beautiful. It might be beautiful in its own way, but man, like, this is just gorgeous.
Yeah, they're doing wild shit for Harold Halibut.
Yeah, like on a technical level, it looks unreal. But watching the trailer, I thought it was, it touched a nerve for whatever reason. I was like, okay, this might be a unique story being told that's not being told somewhere else, and it's being told in a unique way through this stop motion style. This is one to follow. And like you were saying, Red, it's amazing that we live in a time where everything can be something unique if people choose it to be.
For sure. I know we live in a time where roguelikes and lights and cooking sims and life sims and battle royales are the fucking easy option, the easy choice.
Yeah.
But man, put a little brain power into your game, put a little bit of creativity into your game. Farming games have been done. It's over. Life games are done. It's over. Make something like Harold Halibut. Because, man, this shit gets me excited about being a gamer,
Yeah.
Seeing the fucking 10th Hades clone come out this year, that doesn't get me excited.
No,
but
fuck.
something like this, fucking rights.
Okay, so I want to break down a few things that I remember very clearly from the Wholesome Direct, because they cover a fuckload of games, and some of them are like weird, wild shit that I like never even occurred to me would be a thing that would be happening.
Let's do it.
The first one on the list is it's a little to the left, which is this meditative little game where you're taking things. It's just like a little puzzle game where you're taking things that are like out of order or fucked up in some way, and you're just like arranging them so they look just so they look just right. Like if you see 4 photos and one of the picture frames is crooked, you fix that picture frame. Or if there's like a bunch of pencils that they're like all scattered in a pile, you like arrange them nicely in like order and like in size. So like one of those subreddits, like oddly satisfying, where like, oh yeah, I just want to do this thing and just make it look right. Yeah. Like they've designed the whole fucking game like that. Apparently you can play a demo for it on itch.io, and it's coming out this fall, and it's just a little meditative experiment in like, let's make things look right or like feel right or like put things in their order or like real like fastidious appeasement vibes. And then A Walk with Yaya, which is like a little story-based thing where a young man is helping his grandmother run some errands around town because she's recovering from a terrible fall where she like injured herself pretty badly. And so now you're just like, and like the guy who developed it was like on the direct with his actual grandmother. And he was just like, so yeah, what did you think about the trailer? She's like, I thought it looked great. And it was like, fuck yeah. Yeah, you did. All right, sick. And then there's a bunch of photography sims. Alicon is one that's out now. You take pictures of pretty animals. There's mini games. I don't know. It looks cool. There's Apico, which is like a beekeeping sim. Deal with bees. If that's the thing you want to do. Battle Cakes, Battle Cakes is one where you play as like cupcakes and like a turn-based RPG. So you're like in this crazy world of desserts, and you're like going into battles and like different cool. Like the whole game is like really like colorful and bright and vibrant, and it's like this. Yeah, it's a turn-based RPG where you all play like cupcakes, just a party of 3 cupcakes on an adventure. It's wild shit.
What will they think of next?
Yeah. Oh, and there's like 2 or 3 cooking hot pot simulators. There's one that's like Lonely Hot Pot or something, where it's like it's the Christmas break and everybody else has gone home from the university and you're the only one there, so you're like gathering ingredients to like put them into this hot pot. Like some of these fucking games are like you could probably play through it in like an hour, but it's just like captures this unbelievably specific feeling.
Feels like it's got to be a VR game, right?
I know it's probably PC. I don't know if it's got like, yeah, Hot Pot.
Okay.
Skatebird, they did another trailer for that's been in the pipes for a while now, which is exactly what it sounds like. You were a bird who skateboards. It's amazing.
Is it the same bird from Death's Door?
No, this is like a sparrow or a robin or like something, songbirdie, just on a skateboard. And like there's still no concrete release date, but they were talking about how they're like come up with like different control schemes. If you're like, I suck at skateboarding games and I still want to play this thing. So it was like, yeah, no, we simplified some of these things or the options so you can like play it like this. And it was like, it's cool. I appreciate that. I think it's good.
But what if Skatebirds is like the prequel and the Skatebird got in with the wrong crowd and ended up as the Death's Door bird?
Yeah, so now he just has to take the souls of the damned or the not damned or the newly dead,
Yeah, you know how it is.
I like it, sure.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happens to the best of us.
Sure. Yeah, there's Cat Cafe, which is another crazy sim. A Cat Designer, which is like another weird art game. A lot of weird art games. Oh, there's a fishing arcade sim that's like designed like a crane game where you're like grabbing objects and items out of an area like using crane game mechanics.
Fuck, they've got everything.
There's yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
That reminds me of 2 Point Campus.
Yes.
Which they were showing off multiple places. That looks pretty good. 2 Point Hospitals. It's fun. As far as management sims go.
That team's got some sort of crazy pedigree. There was like some really famous series of sim games that they used to work on that they all jump ship to do 2 Point, right? Like,
yeah, I think it's the theme games, Theme Hospital.
Yeah. Like they were doing their own shit, and
I'm gonna check that.
Yeah. They did Hot Pot for One is the lonely hot pot cooking simulator. And then Kiwi, which is like a co-op mail delivery game where you play as 2 flightless birds in postal service hats. And you just you build the letters and you send them off through the assembly line. So that's cool. If you ever wanted to play as 2 flightless birds delivering mail, then that's something coming this summer.
Before we get off the cooking game subjects, did y'all see the trailer for that horror cooking game coming out?
No.
Okay, so man, I've been trying to find it. I can't find the name of the game, but I saw this trailer. You're basically in this like McDonald's, whatever, you're flipping the burgers and whatnot, but then it almost turns into like a Five Nights at Freddy's, where these fucking monsters start coming into the restaurant, and yeah, it's like a horror cooking game. I'm trying to find the name of it. I can't find it. Fuck. It actually looked, well, it didn't look great, but
okay, like that sounds interesting enough.
Exactly.
And, just before you move on, James, the 2 Point Studios was formed by people who came from Lionhead. So
okay.
The Fable people.
Okay.
They also made Black and White.
Right. Yeah, okay. One of the games that was shown on the Wholesome Direct, we just did a review for that went live on the site. It's Lego Builder's Journey.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's like you make these little 3D dioramas with Lego, and it looks like fucking beautiful, meditative, and zen. It's like the good parts of building Lego in like a little like contained environment.
Seriously though,
Like,
man, this game has no business looking as good as it does. It's crazy.
it's crazy.
Oh wow.
Just yeah, just came out of fucking nowhere. Just like
shit.
out this month, out right now. Jazz did the review for us. It was just like I thought it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks fantastic.
Yeah, that was one I was looking at it. I wanted to snag it, and then I came back to the app, and it was already taken. So it does look like a lot of fun. It's for a few hours.
Yeah, play it on
Oh, Jazz reviewed it on the Switch. I was gonna say if we reviewed it on PC, Rhett, this sounds like a Switch port for you.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know, right? That's why I was thinking about it though, because it does look good on the Switch at least.
Man, seriously.
They Power Wash Simulator was included in right?
Oh, yeah.
Which it's another one of these oddly satisfying games.
Yeah.
That just makes you feel better about the world.
100%. If you've ever wanted to learn how to earn $200 from your stepfather, Power Wash Simulator is the game for you.
Nice. Nice.
I have to wonder how many of these games were conceived in the context of COVID. Like we need something oddly satisfying to do inside.
You just kick back on the couch, blazing. You know, what kind of game could we make that people would get into? Fucking power washing their fence. Yeah, that's really something.
Yeah, what if we could? What if you could get the sidewalk, but you didn't have to leave the couch? Yeah.
Oh.
I just saw the name of the third photography sim. I forgot about it. It's called Paparazzi. It's a dog photography sim. So there's two about exploring beautiful islands where you take pictures, and one where you take paparazzi photos of dogs.
Okay.
So if you like to pretend to take pictures, this is the summer, because there's these three games. There's new Pokemon Snap. Umurangi Generation just came out for the Switch, I think, this month.
Oh, really?
So there's like 5 photo games out in the wild. Basically, we'll like 4, and then this one's coming out at some point. But like, if you love taking photos or pretending to take photos, man, it is your fucking year. Oh my God, there's another one. Shishingo, Japanese language learning aid with photography gameplay. This is like cleaning your couch, and you just find another photo sim under every cushion.
And there's another hot pot game.
Soup pot. Yeah. What a world.
You know, I have a lot of regret and FOMO that E3 wasn't in real life this year. Because I feel like that's an hour out of somebody's day that should have happened. Somebody should have been assigned to go play all the photography and hot pot games. Like, here's a 2-hour block, James. You're going to play all of the hot pot games and tell us which one's the fucking best.
I would have. I absolutely would have.
I know.
I would have done a hot pot tour.
And it would have been the best. But
it would have.
Yeah. To be fully transparent about this whole E3 thing is not the same at all. Not the same at all. As usually in June we would be inundated with just a density of emails and offers and demos and events that we would have no way to cover it all. That just was not the case this year. You know, there were a few shows going on, there were a few demos around, but like for myself, I didn't have to do anything. Coverage wise, I didn't have to do anything. It was wild.
Yeah, you just kick back and you watch all the things come in, and then some of us tried to write about as much as we could, and you know, it's fine. It's fine. I would have loved to get some more hands-on demo time with some of this wild shit, but like, you know,
Maybe we will. Maybe we will in the next few months here. Presumably a lot of this stuff hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. We Are OFK. It's like a narrative-driven story, like a musical game where it's just like it's all fully voiced, and like you're following the tale of like this band coming together and like playing crazy tunes. And I thought it looked crazy slick, like super like a super like involved and like really well crafted visual adventure game. It was just like, I'm into this whole thing, and the music sounded rad. So that was another one that like stuck out amongst the crowd. This is like the second year that they've done a wholesome direct, and I have to say it's consistently like one of my favorite presentations, just for like density of games and like the weird shit they're willing to take chances on. Where it's just like, what is your game about? Is it cool? Is it unique? Is it cute? Sure, throw it in. Let's do it. I don't give a shit. Taking pictures of dogs? Yeah, you're in the presentation.
We were looking to round out our trifecta of photography games, and dog photography. It's the way to do it.
Yeah. And a lot of like witch simulators, Witchery Academy, Witchy Life Story, Witchwood. 3 real games that are coming out at some point in the next year.
Damn.
Yes. Yeah, this the wholesome direct is the one that makes me believe that, like, listen, whatever you want to do in life, whatever you want to make a game about, you shoot for the stars and you make that game.
Hell yeah, man.
Because there's a market for it. Somebody will be into that.
Under the category of how had they not made this previously, I would put Metal Slug Tactics.
Oh shit, yeah. Why wasn't that a thing? Why isn't that out there in the world already? It seems like such an easy slam dunk.
Like, how many of you, dear listeners, dear viewers, have played Metal Slug somewhere, probably in an arcade, maybe on a Neo Geo, and been so wrapped up in what's going on the screen that you didn't actually look at the sprite art? Because the Metal Slug art is gorgeous. Why not give you a way to look at it a little more often in a little more relaxed environment? How about a tactics game? Just slap tactics onto the back of pretty much anything and it probably works.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
I'll definitely play that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else that stood out, fellas?
Oh yeah, I got one.
Hit me up.
Okay, so my most anticipated game now is ESBC Boxing Club. Esports Boxing Club. I don't know if y'all have seen this game, but it is crazy. The animations, the graphics, everything about it. Like, it looks like the most realistic sports game probably ever made. It's been a long time since we've had any boxing game released, really, let alone a good boxing game.
Fight Night Round 3. Last good
one. Fight Night Round 3, exactly. And like, that was a fucking 360 launch game, wasn't it? So
it was.
Man, it's been almost like 2 decades.
Wow.
So yeah, ESBC, it looks phenomenal. The roster is over 200 fighters deep. The animations and everything like that, the fighter movement is like, man, it's more realistic than any sort of movement in a sports game that I've ever seen. Like, these people look real. Yeah, like, look out for this game. I think that it's releasing on early access on Steam this year, and then it's going to be coming to consoles. But truly, if you like boxing, if you like combat sports, if you like sports games in general, or fighting games in general, like, I think this one is going to be incredible. It's actually going to be like you're having a chess match, you know? Yeah, it's really interesting what they've done with it. They've released like an 8 or 9 minute kind of walkthrough trailer that shows you like everything they've been doing with the game, animations, lighting, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And so much of it is just so impressive. skin looks more realistic in this game than I've ever seen before. Sweat and all that. It's pretty impressive.
The perspective and the camera movement remind me a lot of Fight Night.
Yeah, no, exactly, which is not a bad thing.
Not
there's
at
a
all.
lot from Fight Night that you can take and apply. Man, the shit just looks so modern, though. It looks so, just so refined, It's what we wanted EA to do with their boxing license for fucking 10 years. I don't know. I get it. I get that fucking UFC is popular, but hey, boxing is still a thing. Hey.
You could make both of them.
Yeah.
If you've got a decent striking system in your UFC game, you've got a boxing game.
I would bet money that if they were to release UFC 5 and a brand new Fight Night game in the same year, I think Fight Night outsells it. It's kind of like what Gene Simmons said about Kiss when he said the greatest thing that we ever did was not taking the paint off. It was putting the paint back on. And EA, that's exactly the same thing here. You've got a UFC license and that's cool and everybody's happy with it, but watch, you bring Fight Night back and I guarantee that shit outsells UFC. Boxing's bigger than it's been in 20 years. And
I mean, look at the nonsense that's going on in the boxing world.
There's always
just
nonsense.
Fought Logan Paul.
Fair. But is that boxing man? That's more WWE than boxing.
Yeah, but I'm saying is, who wouldn't pay $60 for the opportunity to punch Logan Paul in the face in a game?
Yeah, you're right. Logan Paul DLC.
I'd pay $5 for that.
Totally.
Yeah,
He's it's like an 18 overall.
Absolutely.
It turns the training dummy into Logan Paul, which is basically what happened in that fight.
Yeah, that was fucking embarrassing.
I feel bad for you
clowned.
if you spent money on that. It's yeah.
Damn. It's bad. People like to think he got a couple of strikes in. No, bro.
No,
he got worked.
badly. It was humiliating. But
by an old man.
By an old man,
yeah.
But arguably the greatest of all time. And I definitely give it to Logan for getting in there. If you fight, you got to give props for anybody who steps in there. But my goodness, it was embarrassing. It was a dissection. At any moment, it felt like Floyd could have ended it. But he was just kind of, having fun, popping shots off here and there. Yeah. Enjoying himself. You could definitely see, he was enjoying being back in the ring.
Absolutely. Probably the greatest counterpuncher
ever
in history.
Ever, yeah.
Although I would desperately love to see Floyd get into the octagon with McGregor.
I know, right? That was only fair. McGregor came over and did one of Floyd's. Floyd needed to come over and do one of McGregor's. It was only fair.
Just accept it. You're gonna get worked in the octagon, bro.
100%. Everybody accepted that you were gonna get worked in the boxing ring. Just accept it. Floyd, you needed to go in there and get beat down. It was only gonna take a minute.
I watched that fight with a bunch of Irish people, and there was a moment. There was a moment in the third round where it's 15 or 20 seconds. You're like, shit, he might do it. He might knock out Floyd.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Then it turned. It got real dark. It's the punching bag.
All right.
Anyways.
Guys, I think that was video games for the week,
Yeah. Was it there? There's nothing else?
Well, there's lots.
There's 100 things, but I think we covered the spread pretty well. There's games I played over the last 2 weeks that I haven't talked about, but I don't want to keep us here all goddamn night,
That's fair. I think if there's anything that's still sticking with us, next time we chat, we just bring it up then.
Yeah.
What is time?
What is time?
It's an arrow. It's a construct.
Yeah. It's a flat circle.
Oh shit. Time is Hideo Kojima.
Wow. Putting Norman in a box.
Please tell me that the director's cut includes some like VR missions where you can do some Metal Gear stuff.
Ooh, yeah. Oh. Why wouldn't, like, you know, just as a big like fuck you to Konami, why wouldn't he do that? Just sneak in a little 30 VR mission DLC, a little something like that, you know? Hey, this isn't Metal Gear.
Especially if it's complete bullshit and you have to do it while you're loaded down with 200 kilograms of boxes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You know, you've got 30 feet of boxes on his back, and you still have to complete the VR mission without being spotted.
100%.
Get it done, Norman.
Yep.
Well, anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Listeners, watchers, thanks for being here as well. This has been Press X, the podcast, the second part of our E3 2021 wrap-up here in the face season. Press X, the podcast. We'll be back again real soon. And in the meantime, you can take a look at cogconnected.com or Cogconnected on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, places. See the stuff we're doing.
All right.
So, yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time, folks.
Bye.